Hi everyone, and we are already in week 10. I hope you all had a good weekend. So again, I want to just go over highlight some things that you are all doing this week. So just looking at the overview here of our week, you can see we have another round of synthesis and talkback based on your online Parlor 5 about how you're doing so far with the inquiry-based research. So this is really helpful for students as they can see, kind of touch base with how other students beyond their group members are doing with their project, and maybe get some more ideas about directions they might go with their own topic. Okay. So if you are assigned the synthesis, you will have that assigned. That should show up for you. I want to look at what you're doing for the peer response for Research Log 4. So you're going to be looking back at your team members' Research Log 4, so you'll go in the Google Doc to do that and use the comments function to make the comments. So for this response, I want you to focus a lot on the editor's commentary. So this is kind of, what they're thinking about their topic so far, things they're noticing, connections between sources, and one common, kind of problem or roadblock that students often run into at this point in the research process is that they feel like their sources are starting to seem repetitive. If you notice that the sources that you're looking at seem a little repetitive, or if they're mentioning that in their editor's commentary, what you might do is try to help them think more broadly or more deeply about their topic. So I have this example here. So maybe if they have several articles that are all touching on screen time and depression, well, what else ties into that issue? So maybe you could suggest that they look for a source that looks at how screen time affects sleep, since sleep is also closely tied to mental health. Or maybe instead of looking for depression, they could look for screen time and happiness, or screen time and friendship. So think about how you might suggest that they look at their topic from a different angle to help them find sources. So remember that with your topic as the editor, you're not trying to prove anything. You're just trying to show all the different interesting angles that the conversation around your top people are having with that conversation around your topic. Okay. And also, for Research Log 5, you're going to be doing something a little bit different. So as you can tell, for each research log, I've had you looking for sources in a different place. And this time is no different in that you're going to be looking for sources in a different way. So the two sources that you're going to find for Research Log 5, you're going to have to go back into sources you've already done for your research logs and look in either their references or notes sections at the end of the article, or end if you have a book at the end of the book, or hyperlinks within the article. So for example, in the Atlantic articles that you found last week, there are often many hyperlinks within those articles. Try looking through those hyperlinks and see if there's any sources that you think would be good for your next research log. So this may be a very different way of looking for sources for you. This is basically what you did with Research Log 1, where you had to look in Cal Newport's notes for sources that he had referenced in his book. So what you're doing is you are listening in, going back to the parlor metaphor, listening in on the conversation that's going on about your topic and looking at the hyperlinks or references or notes of a source that you already like is you doing more digging into that conversation, seeing, okay, well, what did the person that wrote this article, who were they listening to? What were they reading? And so you're going kind of back and looking for the sources that they used. And so this may be different for you, but this is something that people do all the time in academic research, and it's a really good practice for you to do for this research log. Okay, so again, you're finding two sources that way. right. And then for Thursday, you have the talk back, okay, which will be posted. And then you are starting to look ahead to organizing all these sources that you're finding for the Reader's Guide. Okay, so you're going to start thinking about categories that they fall into, because eventually you as the editor will, in your Reader's Guide, divide your sources into categories. Okay, so what you're going to do for this one, you have several steps that you want to follow, and you're going to use either cards or scrap paper, and for each source, you're going to do these steps. So you're going to put the title, the gist, any notes about the source, and then start arranging all your sources that you have so far into categories. So your categories have to be, they cannot be pro or con or positive, negative. These are too black and white. It's too simple putting your sources into those categories, and it's really not an accurate reflection of your research. You have probably found yourself that your research is much more complicated. The topic is much more complicated than just saying, you know, something is for or against your source. Plus, this puts you in the position to make an argument on the topic, which you're not doing. So, again, try to think of more interesting categories that you think your sources can fit into. And we have an example here. You know, we can see first category, the psychology of solitude, family relationships in solitude, how social media complicates solitude, okay? And then you can also have this other area for ones that you don't think are fitting quite anymore, all right? And then that's it for Thursday. And then for Sunday, you have a studio composing processes, and most students really enjoy this reading here in the studio Shitty First Drafts. It really helps people reduce some of the anxiety about writing drafts. So most students find this studio very helpful. Okay. One thing that I put in the announcement that you'll want to do is to revisit your guiding question. So remember, your guiding question is on your research log, and you'll want to look at it again and think about whether it's still reflecting where your topic is. And if it's not, then please revise it. You know, change it however you need to so that it accurately reflects where your topic is and how it has evolved, okay? So that's it for now. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing what you all find this week.